But this is the point. Everyone's obsessed with the positive experiences, but nobody is chasing any kind of negative experience, which is why, I mean, I chose fighting, right? Yeah. But I believe every man should be choosing to do something which is extremely hard, which they hate, which sucks, because you don't appreciate life at all without it. The reason people are taking so many drugs, for example, because I'm fervently anti-drugs. I've never tried a drug in my life, never even tried weed. The reason people never.
You never smoked a blunt?
Never.
Wow.
Never. The reason people chase higher highs all the time, and the reason they're constantly taking drugs and trying to fuck new pussy and drink more alcohol and chasing higher highs all the time is because they don't experience any lows. Mm-hmm. So you always want a higher high, but I promise you, the higher high is fine if you balance it with a little bit of low. If you bounce down there for a week and come back to where you were, you're good. Constantly chasing higher highs is hedonism, which ends in one place. Mm-hmm. It always ends in a spiral, a downward spiral, right? And butt sex, like the whole city of LA.
You're obsessed with butt sex.
Well, hey, bro, it's your city. So you need to stay away from constantly chasing those things. You need to artificially manufacture some lows. I chose fighting because fighting will do that for you. It's hard. It's stressful. You're worried. You train all the time. You're exhausted. You win. You lose. You get hurt. You go hospital. There's a lot of negatives in it. But there's not enough negatives in men's lives today. But you're asking me about jail as if it's a good or bad thing, or if I'm worried about going back. But to me, all experiences are on an even level playing field. Whether it's a good experience or a bad experience, it doesn't matter. There's experiences, and then there's comfort. And it doesn't matter if you're a good experience or a bad experience. As long as you're on the experiences side, I'm happy for you. My father died, which was a negative experience, but you learn a lot from it. It was an experience. It was a period of life where I was learning and growing, as was jail, as was sitting in the Bugatti meeting, as was buying a jet, as will be conquering the crypto space, as will be getting fucking stabbed when he finally gets hold of me and I can't block it with my hand. That's life.
How long ago did your father die?
8 years.
8 years. And what were you doing? Where were you in life 8 years ago?
I was here in Romania. I was in a hotel about to commentate on a fight show.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then an hour later, I commentated on the fight show.
What do you think your father would think of how Andrew Tate has evolved?
Well, I think he wouldn't be surprised at all, because was built to be this way. And I was never built for all the positive, happy experiences of life. And he would know that I'm representing him the way I should be, because people talk about him because of how fantastic I am. Nobody would talk about my dad if I wasn't me, and I'm me, and they want to know how I ended up being me, so they talk about my dad, which is why I'm going to live forever, because my son is going to be doing the same thing. My son's going to be so fantastic, they're going to say, but he's Andrew Tate's son. That's why he's fantastic. And he's not going to be fantastic through positive experiences. Men only become good men through negativity. Women are actually the opposite. Men who have been through a lot of pain are very kind. I would argue that when I see a man who's been through a lot of shit, it makes you kinder. You don't want it to be put on anyone else. The biggest gangsters and killers and evil people sometimes can be the kindest. When women go through a lot of pain, they grow bitter and evil and mean. They don't grow kind. Men grow kind from pain. I think that the worst men on earth are the ones who haven't had enough pain. Those are the arrogant pieces of shit people. You're supposed to suffer as a man. You're born to suffer. Which ties back into my whole crypto project. You're not supposed to get rich off a fucking stupid meme coin like that without doing any work. You're supposed to suffer. The whole reason God put men on this planet is to fucking suffer. And the best men are the ones who suffered the most. I wouldn't be top G if I didn't suffer more than anyone else. You're a better man than everyone else if your life was a fucking mess and it was a hardship. Because you're not what happens to you. You are how you react to it. And the best men on earth are men who have had their parents die, their best friends betray them, their girl betray them, thrown in jail, their money stolen, stabbed, robbed. And every time something happened to them, they sat there and they looked in the mirror and said, what can I learn from this? How can I stop this happening? Those are the best men. Those are the men respect. Those are the men women want. Why do women love scars? Look, they tried to kill him and they can't. That's why I want him. The best men suffered. You find a man who's never been through suffering and nobody gives a shit about him. Men don't like him and women don't like him. Men are no good without it.